Hello everyone, it is Teresa from Teresa's Silhouette Spot for all things art, where I love sharing art from my heart. Hi everyone. Remind me later. So, we are painting the cat in the big city tonight. I have a sample. I painted this. I painted this on a round pumpkin. It's a 1/4-inch piece of wood, and I already painted one. But tonight, I will be painting on my usual 11 by 14. You guys know I like to use this Bristol board when I paint a lot of paintings because they're easier to store for me. You know, you also know I like to sit like a pretzel when I paint. Sorry, I digress. Anyway, I'm going to try and use this device for comments because Facebook has changed. Okay, Facebook has changed the way you go live. That's why I'm a few minutes late. And now I couldn't see comments before unless I was doing something in particular. Now I really can't see comments. So anyway, hello everyone. When you hop on, say hi. When you paint, please post. I would love to see your paintings. And again, this is what we are painting tonight, the cat in the city. So this is a great one. I know I mentioned to one of my friends. This is a great one for kids. It's got a lot of colors. It's got a lot of blending up here. But the rest of it is fairly simple. I honestly, I got a little carried away with my windows here. I probably won't do that many tonight. But overall, I love it. I think it's really cute. So that is what we are painting tonight. So, and again, I like to use Bristol board. This is the 9 by 12. I am using an 11 by 14. I have a couple of sizes of these. I have a really big one of these. I use a giant one of these, like a 20-inch, when I do my in-person paint parties on a big easel, actually this easel, so I can show everybody the strokes. So for the people in the back, they can see what I'm doing. I provided a tracer. I've printed it out, but because we're going to do the painting first, I showed you guys a little trick today too. Oh, there it is. So we're going to do all our background first, all the blue blending and the circling around there. And then you can either take this when your paint dries and trace it on where it goes, or, and this is what I posted today, I printed out a second one and cut this out. So if our paint is still a little wet after we've done, and we don't want to sit and watch paint dry, we'll be able to put this on here and trace around it with either a pencil or a liner brush, or even a toothpick, because it would make a line. It'd make a little bit of an indentation. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so that's two ways. You can trace it on like we usually do using the pencil method or the graphite paper, or in this case, because this is such a fairly simple shape to cut out, I cut it out and we're gonna put it on. Okay, so do you want me to put this one back here so we can see what we're doing over the harvest moon? Isn't it cute? I love that one too. So we'll put that there. That's what we're working on, and I will get started and chit chat while I paint. Once again, you guys, so lame. I really want to apologize for forgetting. Totally forgot last month. Had the whole thing planned. I mean, you guys know I had it planned. I posted, I put up the tracer, I put up the supply list. It was a weird week for me. I was totally off schedule. I was off my 9 to 5 that week, and whoosh, totally forgot. Don't know how it happened. I knew it in the morning and still forgot. So again, I apologize, but I'm apologizing again. I'm very, very sorry. Very sorry. Okay, let me set up this for my time lapse. Okay, turn it around, face it down, and there we go. Okay, let me get a brush. So I have this crappy brush, for lack of a better word. I dipped it in a little water just to bring it together a little bit. See that? And I'm going to be picking up, I'm going to start with mostly white. Let's change you guys overhead. Okay, I'm going to start with, even though my paper's white, I want to be able to blend. So I'm getting a nice amount of paint on my brush, both sides. And I'm going to start with a little white circle in the middle. When we blend, we need wet on wet paint to blend, right? When we fix something that we don't love, we need to be patient and let our paint totally dry, and then we can fix it. We can go over anything and fix it. Okay, now I am just making circles. I'm getting wider and wider. I started out with all white on my brush. Then I just started adding a little bit of blue to the corner of my brush, and now I'm adding all blue. And I like to keep, if you see, I'm constantly keeping my brush on the flat. I don't come around here and pull it like that. Nope, I want to constantly keep it on the big flat side. And you don't have to go around in circles so much. So now that I'm expanding, I could keep going circular, or I can just do part of the circle at a time. Okay. And I am using, for this, cobalt blue and white. I think there was black on the supply list. This darker blue here is ink spot, but you could use a navy blue. You could use a little bit of black. You can use some black mixed with your blue. So I have scrap paper down on my table covering, so I'm not going to worry about getting my paint on my table when I paint over. And I'm continuing, cobalt, with my cobalt blue. I might go in and add a little bit more white. I want my center to be a little bit more white, but I'm letting that dry so my white, like I said, so my white will stand out, because when you're patient and you let your paint dry, you can fix anything. When you want to blend, you want to be painting with wet paint, wet on wet. Okay? So I'm going to pick up a little bit of white down here where I'm getting into the city. This is where the buildings will be. And I'm not going to worry about going all the way down to the end, because we're going to have our buildings down there. I am going to now pick up a little bit of the dark and add it in to the upper corners up here, just to get a little bit darker. And if you guys notice, I have not cleaned my brush. I am using the dirty brush. I started with the white, then I added the cobalt, which just let a little bit on the corner, and then I just kept adding more and more cobalt. Not cobalt, I'm very sorry. Oh yes, more and more cobalt as I went around. And now, still with the dirty brush, I'm going in and I'm adding this, in my case it's ink spot. You might have navy. You might have mixed a tiny bit of black with your cobalt. And we're getting a little bit darker. So we want a really cool night sky for our moon and our black cat. All right, now I'm going to pick up a little more white. Still not washing my brush because I made my circle here a little too small. So I just want to fill in with some white. Make it a little bit bigger. Okay? So if you hop on, oh I do, let me see, have a comment. Let's see. Oh, hi Linda. Hey Angie. So if you're painting with me, let me know. If this is your first time watching, let me know. See, my circle was too little at the beginning, but now I just added a little bit more white, and I'm blending it out now. A little bit more dark blue, bringing it in, and there we go. The lighting, I think I have a little bit of a glare because my painting looks much better in person than it does. I think one of my lights is causing a little bit of a glare. Let me see which one it is. Is that better? Kinda. I don't know. So. You can paint this on wood. You can paint this on canvas. You can paint this on a tote bag and use it for trick-or-treating. How cute would that be? You could use this whole design with the city and the moon, and then put a different animal or no animal, an owl, a raven, a puppy, a bat, whatever it is you want to put. I love doing these projects with you guys that are versatile. Then you can change it and make it your own. Now, all these designs I do on this page are personal use only. But that doesn't mean you can have a couple of friends over and do some painting, right? Or family or children or grandchildren and do some painting for yourself. You just cannot use these designs to do a paint party or profit or sell them on Etsy or anything like that. But you can use all these designs that I paint in my free group for your personal use. And I like to then share designs with you guys that are versatile, that you can change up and make your own. So usually when I have a painting, there's always an element to it that can be used elsewhere or not used to make yours unique. And that's what I like to do. So, hi Sydney. Sydney's watching. Angie. Just kidding. Oh, just kidding. Here I am. Thanks guys for hopping on. If you have any questions, I don't know. I know Sydney's not painting with me because Sydney's at work. I don't know who else is painting with me or just watching, but now I'm going to wash my brush. So now, see, I am a little dark up in there, so I got to fix this one again. All right. Sorry, people. So this is what I have so far. I didn't go all the way down to the bottom, but I just blended out my blues, and this was 2 blues and a white. Started with white in the middle, then added the cobalt, and then added the darker blue to the upper corners. Okay? Now I'm going to get out some gray paint. If you don't have gray, you can mix white and a smidge of black. Like a couple of drops of black, literally. Not even. And I'm going to use the same brush. Okay? Now I washed it because it was in the blue. You really don't have to, but I am. Okay, and I always try and put my brush in paper towel and squeeze out as much of the water as possible. Okay? Okay, so now I'm going to pick up, so now you can either use your template right here and lay it on and do the buildings exactly. You can use your template and just like eyeball it, or you can just put your buildings wherever you feel like. Okay, I'll put my template over there and I will try to somewhat follow the template. Okay, just to keep us all on the same page, keep us all honest. Okay, and basically all I'm doing is picking up the gray paint and pulling down. I'm not going in and painting the whole bottom gray because by doing the buildings individually with the strokes, you'll be able to see the difference in the buildings. And I don't mind that I'm picking up some blue. It's just adding a little bit dimension to my buildings. Okay. So, and I am, like I said, I'm looking here a little bit to follow along with the basic layout of the buildings on the template. Okay, and you can see where the buildings are, even though I'm painting them over and over on top of each other. You can see pretty much where one ends and one begins. And don't worry, because at the end, we're going to go back and add all our details. I tell you guys this all the time. Our projects, our paintings, our designs have to go through a somewhat unpretty stage before they get to the really, really, really pretty stage. Okay? And that all comes together at the end when we go in and we add our details. Now, some of this is a little too blue, but I'm not going to worry about that. Because when we add our lights, our windows, and our highlights, and our shading, it'll be fine. Okay? And always, I have a little cheat sheet here. Always when I paint with you guys, I write down the steps so I don't forget and we can stay in order. Okay? And I'm going to put my brush in there. Show you guys what I have so far. So, this is what I have so far, all right? So, our paintings go through stages, remember? So, we might not love this just yet, but we will. So I'm going to let that dry for a second while we chitter-chatter. I've cut out my moon and my cat. I'm going to let the top of that dry. I did buy a heat gun, y'all, though. I think I might have... Did I show you guys my heat gun? So a heat gun does the same thing as a hair dryer. Produces heat to dry the paint, but it's not as loud. Okay? So let me get this guy. Again, here's our sample. I painted this one a few weeks ago. I did get carried away with the windows. Probably won't do as many windows tonight, but that's okay. I still love it. I still like it. I did a good job. But, you know, let's not get all jammed up about that, right? Let's put that back. So, if you are local and you're watching me, this is what we are painting on September 20th. It is a palette board. Isn't that pretty? Aren't those the prettiest pumpkins? I love the blues. And the green just like totally pops against these white and teal pumpkins. I don't know if it's more teal or more aqua, but these are the palette boards that we will be painting on. They are 11 by 14. I make them myself. And this is at Little Miss Sew It All in Maniville on September 20th. There are a few spots left. Yes, there are a few spots left. So if you haven't signed up, look in the events on my business page. Okay, so that's one thing we have coming up. Another thing we have coming up on, oh, I wish I had a calendar. I think it's definitely the last Tuesday of the month, is this Simply Blessed. Now, this is a paid virtual, okay? This is a smaller version. This is just my sample. I will be painting this on a 16 by 8 board. And it will have the leaves, the sunflower, and it will say Simply Blessed instead of just Blessed. I'll give you guys a template for the lettering, a template for the sunflower. This is a $10 paid virtual class. It will not be here in the free group. This one will be on Zoom. So when you sign up, you will get a link to Zoom, and we will paint in Zoom together one-on-one. Well, as a group, I will be there to help you along. If you're having trouble with a step or blending, whatever, I will be there to see what you're doing. You can see exactly what I'm doing. And so this will be the last Tuesday. I believe it's Tuesday, September 28th. If somebody has a calendar, maybe they could pop that in there. If you're watching, please. Okay? And then I have another surprise for locals. A giveaway. 2 of my maker friends who are local to Long Island. So if you're local from Long Island and you're watching this now or you're watching on the replay, we are doing a fall porch decor giveaway. I will post the link in here when we're done. So all you have to do is enter to win. Send a picture of the front area of your home that you want decorated, and we're doing a complete fall decorating project. Mums, corn stalks, pumpkins, a wreath, a wood sign, and one of my tins. So we're makers. So we have a wreath maker, a wood sign maker, and then I'll be painting one of my galvanized tins for the mums, and that is a giveaway. So I will post the link in here because we will be doing that. The drawing is September 15th. So if you want to sign up, if you're local, you have to be local. We can't fly and travel, sorry you guys, and decorate your front porch. But if you're local to Long Island, Nassau, Suffolk County, enter to win. Send us a picture of the front of your home, and maybe you will get decorated for fall on us. We'll come out and we'll do the whole thing. So back to our painting. So I have this already. Where is my little, oh, here it is. Okay. So I'm going to take this guy. I'm going to lay it out where I think he goes. I think that's good. In a way, my paint is wet, so it's kind of okay because it's going to hold it down. I'm going to get a pencil and see if the pencil works. I think it will. I'm just going to try it first. Let me see. No, I really can't see that. So I'm going to use a liner brush. Okay. Dip it in some water. And I'm just going to pick up some white paint, and I'm going to go in here, and I'm outlining, can you see that? I'm outlining the moon with some white paint. Okay? Of course, because I'm doing it on the outline, my moon's going to be a little bit bigger. But we're not going to fret about that. That doesn't matter. It also doesn't matter that my paint is still a little wet and that my moon is sticking, because we're going to go paint under there in white anyway. Okay, so I rinse that off. Now I'm going to put out a little bit of black. And again, I'm going to use my liner brush. Let me turn this guy a little bit. Make sure he's down right. Yep. And I could wait and do these separate, but I'm not going to. I'm adventurous and daring like that. And now I'm going to go in here and I'm outlining the cat. This way, when I pull up my paper, I don't have to relay it down for the cat. Okay. Like I said, this is a fairly simple shape. So even if I don't trace the whole thing exactly, and I'll show you what I mean when I pull it up, I'll be able to go in and fill in where I need to. Okay. I'm using a very light touch with my liner. There we go. Let me get my little fingernail up in there and pull this up. Okay? So, this is the areas I was talking about. Like, see, here my hat isn't complete, but I'll just go and fill that in. I'll fill in the point, and that's all good. Okay? So I'm going to do my cat first. Any other comments? Thank you. Thank you, Angie. I'm going to get a little bit of a smaller brush. I'm still going to use a flat brush, but I'm just going to get a little bit of a smaller one. And I'm going to need a little bit more black. There we go. And I'm doing my cat first because I'm waiting for my blue to finish drying. And it's a lot easier to paint black over my blue when my blue is still a little wet than it is to try and paint white over my blue for the moon. So you guys might think I jump around a little bit, but there is always a method to my madness. And if I'm jumping around or you guys think I go too fast, you have access to this painting and more. If you go into the group and you go into the upper one underneath the banner picture, there's a section there. It's called Guides. And every painting that we have done since I started this group is in the guides separated. And each guide is a different painting. And in there you will find the announcement. You will find the tracers, you will find the supply list, and the video that I did live with you guys. So it's all in there. So if there's something that you want to go back and watch, something that you missed, something that you want to repaint, it's all in there on this group for you guys. Okay? All right, there we go. So I'm washing my brush again. I'm going to squeeze. And I'm letting this dry a little bit. So while that dries, I'm going to move down and add some white to my windows. I'm going to spruce up the gray a little bit, and then I'm going to add some white to my windows. Okay? Using that smaller brush again. And I'm going to try not to get carried away with my windows this time. Some of my paint on this was a little thick. There we go. There. Okay. Back in the water. So now I've gotten this brush. This is a number 12. I don't get hung up on the numbers, you guys. This is about not quite a ½ inch wide. But I don't get hung up on the numbers because depending on numbers for paintbrushes are not universal. There's no system out there like inches, pixels, whatever for paintbrushes. So I don't get hung up on the numbers. I'll just tell you like a big flat, a 1 inch flat, a liner brush, a smaller flat, whatever it is. And it also depends on the painter. And this is if you guys paint with me on Zoom, if you guys want to sign up for something like this, and I can work with you and see how you're painting, and we can communicate right at the time when you're painting. Paintbrushes also depend on pressure. So if you are heavy-handed, which I used to be extremely heavy-handed, if you are heavy-handed, you would probably want to use a smaller brush most of the time, because if you apply a lot of pressure to a large brush, your strokes are going to be huge. So it took me a long time actually to master the liner brush because I was so heavy-handed. So that's something, if you guys sign up and we're working in Zoom together, that's something that I will be able to work with you with and see how it is you're holding the brush, how much pressure you're applying, and so forth. But like I said, that's why I do not get hung up on numbers for brushes, because they're not universal, and depending on how heavy-handed someone is, would tell you, what brush they should be using or not using. It's kind of the same with golf clubs, really. I don't know if you play golf, but, certain clubs, somebody can use like a 7 and go a way, way farther than somebody else who uses a 7. So it all depends on the individual person. So I hope that makes sense, or if I'm just like totally confusing you. Oh, picked up a little bit too much blue there. I just went back and got the white. And I'm trying to keep these lined up, but from building to building, they do not have to be the same size. This one, maybe I'll just add some big windows to it. And then pull down. Okay? So, this one up here, I'm going to add little windows too. So I'm going to pull out my liner brush and add little tiny windows to this one. This brush would have been way too thick for this skinny building in the background here. So, there we go. What do you guys think so far? So, I'm going to get out a little bit of yellow. Okay. Now, I could have done all my windows with the yellow and the white simultaneously by double loading. But I didn't. So I'm going to show you guys what we're going to do now. Now we're going to go back and we're going to add yellow to our windows. We're going to get a little yellow on our brush. And we're just going to go back and do the same thing we did the first time with a little bit of yellow. It doesn't have to be as much. But you just want a little bit of a glare. Some of the windows maybe I'll leave because the yellow gives it an illusion of lights being on, and maybe the lights aren't on in every window, right? So we'll leave a few. There we go. And again, I'll get the little liner brush and we'll add a little bit of yellow up here to these. There we go. Okay? What do you guys think so far? You liking this design? Give me some thumbs up if you like this design. I'm going to turn this guy around. You guys know I'm always turning my paintings around. Let me, wait. Let's show you. So this is what we have. Okay. We did all of our blending with our blue and our whites. Then we added in the gray for our buildings. Then I traced over using the cutout right here. Traced over around him with the liner brush. Then we added our windows. And now, oh, I wonder if I need some windows in here. I might, Rabbit, I might. And now I'm going to go in and I'm going to do the white for the moon. Okay? And all this time, I was waiting for my blue to dry. I could have gotten out the blow dryer or the heat gun, but when I can keep the paint party or the painting or the instruction moving, I do. So it's okay. You can just jump around to another spot that's ready to paint, that's already dried. Okay? Or then even still, if yours is still taking too long to dry, then you can get out the blow dryer and hit it for a minute or so to get it all dry. And don't forget, you guys, our paintings go through stages, right? So if you're not happy with your painting, don't get all fretty and negative. You want to wait till the end when you add all the details and all the highlighting, and it all, like, mysteriously, pop, like magic, comes together. Okay? So I'm also going to pick up a little bit of yellow too. I wonder, no, multi-surface, okay. I'm going to pick up a little bit of yellow in here, and I'm going to add a yellow swish to our moon as well. We want that little bit of brightness in our moon. Okay? As I'm turning over. So now I really want to clean out my brush. I'm going to go in and we're going to add a few pumpkins. Okay, get out some orange. Sometimes when I do orange, you guys might have heard me say this before. Orange and red are pretty translucent for some reason. So sometimes I will do a white undercoat, or I will mix a little bit of white with my orange. I never mix white with my red because then you'll get pink. But you can mix it with your orange because all you'll do is get a little bit of a lighter orange. And that's okay. So I'm adding a little bit of yellow here to my pumpkins too. And I'm just doing some curvy lines. I'm doing some C's and some backward C's. I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to do a second coat because, like I said, orange tends to be a little bit translucent. So I could have done a white base coat, but I chose to mix a little bit of white paint with my orange and do it like that instead. And then I will go back in and come around and do a second coat. Okay, so I'm picking up some more orange, I'm picking up some more yellow, and I'm going to go in here and I'm going to do a second coat. And I'm basically just doing curves. I'm doing a curve like this and a curve like this. Pick up a little bit of yellow. And I'm filling in and doing the second coat of my pumpkins. Okay? I want this one a little bit more orange. There we go. Okay. Let's rinse and put out a little bit of green. Thank you, Angie. Now I could put out brown and I can make brown stems. I can make black stems. I'm just going to use my liner brush. And I'm going to, let me put my paint over here for a minute. I'm going to pick up my liner brush and I'm just going to go in here. I'm going to do a little curve like that. Lay it down flat. Add a little bit of pressure and push. Lay it down flat. Add a little bit of pressure and push. And see how I did? I added those little pumpkin stems. And then I'm just going to go in and add a little leaf. So I'm applying some pressure. And then I'm making a point. Again, I'm applying some pressure and making a point. So I added a couple of leaves to my pumpkin stems. Rinse my brush, and then we're going to pick up some black. Now here's where the fun part comes. Here's where the fun part comes. Here's when we're going to start adding some of the details to our project. Your lines do not have to be perfect. You just want to somewhat follow the buildings. Okay? It'll pretty much give you like what building is in front and what building is behind. There we go. Outlined all our buildings. Okay. Then I'm going to go in. I'm going to outline my pumpkins. And give them a little bit of some segments in there. When you draw a pumpkin with the pumpkin segments, they all have to start from the middle. See that? Come around. Come around. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to go in, I'm going to add a little bit of some black to my windows. So this is how we're going to do that. It's kind of like we're going to make an L. We don't want to completely frame our windows. We're just going to do two sides. This is kind of like a little abstract. We're just giving an illusion of these windows on the building. Okay. And only some of them have lights on and some don't. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to figure out how I can put windows in there too. I'm not liking that. But for now, let me just keep moving on. And see, nothing is exact. It doesn't have to completely cover it. The bottom, we're not doing the L part because those windows theoretically go beyond that. They're a little bit shorter on the paper, but they obviously are the same size, so they go a little longer. So we're just doing the one side of them. It's all these little details that helps your project stand out from maybe somebody else's. Okay? Let me get a little brush. Let me see what I could do for the windows in here. Pick up some white. And here again, we're only seeing part of the window on this side of the building because our other window is all the way over there. I just thought it was too much gray to just be hanging out like that. Okay? And again, I'm going to pick up some of the black and I'm going to go in here. This is a little wet. I should have waited. There we go. Okay? Let me turn you guys around again. So, look at that. See what a difference it makes when you start adding all those little details? We did the pumpkins. We put some some lights in the windows. Then we went around and framed them a little bit. Right? So now I'm going to add a little bit of, again with the liner brush, I'm going to add a little bit of white to our pumpkins. Give them a little bit of a highlight on the stem and on side of the pumpkin. Okay? And then I'm going to do the cat. I need a little bit of water in my white paint there. I'm just getting a little thick from sitting out. So when you use your liner brush, you want your paint to be a little bit on the thinner side, like an inky consistency. And sometimes when the paint has been sitting around, especially under the lights. Oh, I didn't paint the tail. Nobody reminded me to paint the tail, you guys. Holy moly. I need some more black. Thanks, Ange. So I picked up a little bit of a smaller brush. I'm coming in here and I'm painting the tail. Oopsie. If I hadn't drawn it on, it would have been okay to not have a tail. But once I sketched it on, I had to paint it in, right? There we go. Okay, now I have my liner brush, And I'm going in, I'm going to be adding a little bit of highlight to my cat. There we go. Okay. And then using the back of my brush and in my white paint, maybe in a little bit of my orange paint, I'm going to go in and I'm just going to add some twinkling little stars in the sky. I like to do them in threes. I don't know why. And in no pattern. Oh, missed one there. But I just like to add them 3 at a time. I don't know. Little weird thing of mine, I guess. Down here I'm doing them a little bit lighter, smaller. And up here I'm doing them a little bit bigger. I'm using a lot more pressure. And there we have it. Now he just pops. Yes, you add that little bit of white and the cat just pops and you can really see him now. So there we go, you guys. Love it. So this is the one I did tonight. This is the one I did a couple of weeks ago where I got carried away with the windows. So you can decide which one you like better. I like them both. I'll be honest, I like them both. They're both unique. This one is on a wood cutout. This one is on 11 by 14 Bristol board. Okay. And thank you guys for joining me. One last time for my locals. This is September 20th at Little Miss Sew It All. It's 11 by 14 palette board in-person paint party at 6:30 or 6 o'clock. I don't remember. Sorry. It's in the events on my page, Teresa's Silhouette Spot for all things art. This is September 20th, paid party. This is the design, but not the size we are doing for September 28th, the last Tuesday of the month. I'm going to be doing mine on a 16 by 8 board. And you'll get the tracer for it's going to say Simply Blessed or Blessed, whatever you want to say. And the sunflower, this is a $10 class. And it'll be presented in Zoom where we can communicate back and forth. And last but not least, the big porch fall decor giveaway. I will post the link in here. If you are local, locals only, sorry, can't travel. But if you are local, me and Lori from Interior Jewels and Eileen from Creative Eye Designs by Eileen are getting together and we're going to decorate your porch or the front of your home for fall. Enter, send in a photo of the front of your home or where you want decorated, and we will be doing that. We will show up, the three of us, a team with pumpkins and mums and a wreath and a wood sign and a tin plant holder that I paint on, and you will get decorated. So one lucky winner. Who will that be? I will post the link in here. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me. Please post your pictures after you paint. I would love to see your pictures. And this is a closed group. This group is only for us painters, not for the whole interweb to see. So, judge-free zone right here. You know, I like to keep things positive. Judge-free zone. So post your pictures. I would love to see them. Thank you, everyone. You guys have a great night, and I will see you soon.